Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to Sebring International Raceway here in the Sunshine State of Florida. And what a splendid weekend of motor racing lies ahead of us. This weekend marks not only the running of one of endurance racing's most revered contests, the 12 Hours of Sebring, but also the debut of an exciting new chapter in American motorsport, the inaugural running of the Trans-American Sedan Championship. So wherever you may be watching from, settle in and join us for a weekend of drama, determination, and motor racing at its very finest. Through turns 1 and 2 on this opening lap, and it is Charlie Rainville in the number 15 Plymouth Barracuda who etches his name, at least for the moment, into the history books as the first man to lead a Trans-American Sedan Championship race. But he's not getting away easily. Right on his tail is the hard-charging A.J. Foyt, a driver renowned for his tenacity, already applying pressure as they sweep through the early bends. Now under the MG Bridge they go, threading their way through the S's. This is a section that demands absolute precision. Get it right, and you carry tremendous speed down toward the hairpin. Get it wrong, and you pay dearly in lost momentum. Bumper to bumper as they dive into the hairpin, a concertina effect through the field, each driver jostling for position, engines snarling as they fight for traction onto the warehouse straight. And they must be cautious here. Approaching the Webster chicane, it's all too easy to carry too much speed. Slight collision there, nothing catastrophic, but enough to unsettle both machines and shuffle the order ever so slightly. Meanwhile, Rainville is making the most of it. Down the back straight, he stretches his advantage. Clean air ahead of him now as he pushes that Barracuda to its limits. Top speed reached, and then hard on the brakes for that sharp 90-degree turn leading toward the daunting Sunset Bend. And all the while, further back, the field continues to battle fiercely. No quarter given on this opening lap of a brand new championship. But as they complete lap 1, it is Charlie Rainville who leads the way. A.J. Foyt recovering to hold second despite that earlier contact, and Charles Kruger slots into third. A historic first lap here at Sebring.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our 1966 season here at Sebring, doing the double. Not only are we here for Peter Sutcliffe in our World Sportscar Championship season, doing the 12 Hours of Sebring in his Ford GT40, but also at the same time there's this brand new saloon car series here in America. I think it's called Trans Am or something, so I thought we'll see how that goes. So we're doing the 4 Hours of Sebring for the debut of the Trans Am series here in this Mustang. Now with this 66 season, I'm sort of trying to create a little storyline, you know, as a driver for hire. Oh, as we accidentally get in the back of, I think that's Charles Kruger there in his Dodge Dart. Yes, trying to create this believable storyline. You know, we're driving for hire. We're currently driving for Peter Sutcliffe this season, not exclusively, but for the moment, that's who we're with. And I was looking for some sort of tie-in with the races that we've done. You know, what team might want us to drive for them in Trans Am. You know, we've not really had any connection to the States yet, apart from having done Daytona. And now doing Sebring, and then obviously in the future we're doing the United States Road Racing Championship as well as Can-Am, so we've got quite a few races stateside coming up. But I thought I can't really find a connection that feels natural to Trans Am, because it was sort of a lot of sort of privateer amateur teams. Maybe amateur's not the right word, but it none of the manufacturers were quite convinced of the series yet, because obviously, you know, there's already a saloon car championship in the States at this point, and it's called NASCAR, and it's quite successful. So a lot of the manufacturers, I think it's safe to say, were reluctant to join Trans Am, because, you know, they're already putting aside a load of money as we go quite deep into the corner. Yeah, they're already putting money away for Saloon Car Championship, so why should they, for an established one, so why should they do it again for a road racing one? And it's a valid point. So there weren't many teams as Charles goes down the inside of us, and we're going to try and do the old switchback if we can get the traction we can. We cut across in front of him, and we remain in third place. We did start on pole, we did put in a good lap time, but that blue Plymouth Barracuda, which is actually a Dodge Dart because there isn't a Plymouth Barracuda mod, but I think in the 60s, Plymouth and Dodge were under the same umbrellas. We accidentally hit AJ Foyt in his Dale Wood Mustang, so I've completely drawn a blank there. Of course, he managed to save it because he was the driver of that era, AJ Foyt. So I think I've got on a massive tangent, haven't I? Anyway, so let's go down the inside. He'll nearly outbrake us. He does, and goes around the outside of us. I think I've gone for a slightly longer gear ratio than the other drivers have, so under acceleration they do, and even with slipstream they do seem to... Oh no, we're coming back. Oh, he's gonna block us though. There's not quite a Mustang width there. As again, I'm going to go down the inside. Luckily those tyres on the hydrant are not physical, I suppose, but we've gone wide anyway, so to do that all again. So yeah, so it took a lot of convincing for the manufacturers to come to Trans Am, but in that same season I think NASCAR changed some regulations to engines, and Ford were not happy, so I think they ended up sort of assigning like 15 to 20 Mustangs. I don't know where that number's come from. I will pop up on the screen what the actual number is, but that's just what I've got in my head at the moment. Yes, they assigned a couple of Mustangs for the series. As he goes down the inside of us, will we get a good enough run? Well, we do. He's parked back behind us again. So yes, there were quite a few Mustangs to start with. And yeah, I think the whole point of this tangent is I'm saying that yeah, I couldn't find a team that fit naturally in our story, and seeing as we won our British Sportscar Championship, I feel like there'd probably be a little bit of money lying around from that. And I think the whole point of this season is that we'll develop ourselves, hopefully, into our own racing team at some point in the following seasons, is the idea. So I thought, well, what better way? And especially in the 60s, I think the Mustang was probably the most accessible sort of car that could be turned into a race car at the time. Certainly because it was the first, I think. Or maybe I'll backtrack that. It was only one of the first muscle cars, and it certainly changed the car culture in America. As we go into the back of AJ Foyt once again, trying to get around him. We'll try and catch up to that Plymouth Barracuda that's shot off into the distance while we're fighting back here. Yeah, I feel like the Mustang, you know, if you were either an established driver or someone wanting to get into racing, the Mustang was probably your first port of call, really, as a car you wanted to get. As we're going to lock up and go into the back of him once again. He's going to have no rear end by the end of the race, and we're going to have no front end either, are we? So I thought, yeah, let's start our own racing team with our own Mustang. So it's painted in the racing past blue with the orange accent at the front. And seeing as we're going to be in America for pretty much the remainder of the season, apart from the World Sportscar Championship, like I said, we've got Can-Am and the United States Road Racing Championship, so those two series will pretty much keep us stateside for a while, and also, obviously not to forget our Pacific Sports Car Championship, which will include 2 races in Australia and 2 races in Japan as we nearly head for those hay bales. Those ones don't move, by the way. So we've still got a lot of racing to go. We're going to do the European leg next. Now, I do keep trying to put a schedule up, but it is going to constantly keep changing. So the idea for now is that we shall try and complete the World Sportscar Championship, because also it lines up nicely with the current World Endurance Championship races. So I'll do it's Monza next, which is also the same weekend, hopefully, if everything works out, same weekend as Imola. And then following that, the Spa 1,000 kilometres will then be the same as the Spa 6 hours, and then I think the Nürburgring will be the same as Nürburgring 24 hour, and then Le Mans will be the same time as Le Mans, and that's it. And then the rest of the season will then just be stateside. And I've had a couple of tests in some of those American races, and those tracks are fantastic. It's a shame that most of them don't exist anymore, but I'm looking forward to that. Again, apologies that these videos are taking quite a while these days, but yeah, my original computer died, and then it was easier and cheaper for me to fix my old 2015 laptop that actually turns out, after installing a second-hand 980 Ti graphics card for 50 quid, runs better than what my modern machine was doing. So either I had done something horribly wrong for the new one, or just older things work better, which is, you know, it's a good advert for the brand Racing Past, I suppose. So that works out alright. But yes, everything now works, and hopefully we can crack out some more videos. Also, at the same time, I've been trying to complete some livery sets for the British Sports Car Championship season that we've done, as we try and get around this Mini. Is it ring free filter? Is it? I think oil filter brand of car. But yes, I say it's weird to think the first Trans Am race you had Minis, you know, Fiat Abarths, you know, Volvos, BMWs, and Alfa Romeos. Because obviously later on it was quintessential American muscle. It was the definition of what those cars at their peak could be. So yeah, so we have a Racing Pass Discord now. So essentially that is just general chat about racing past. It can be current racing, past racing, as well as it's where you'll find the liveries for the current seasons we've done, as that was the Plymouth Barracuda that came in. I've just noticed also my pitbull thing I forgot to turn on again, so yeah, we'll just have to guess who's where. But yes, this race, I've not even mentioned, this race will have a pit stop because it was a 4-hour race, and some cars had 2 drivers for, but I think most of them just had 1. So there would have been a few pit stops during the race, but we're just going to do 1. These cars can't quite make it on 1 tank of fuel. So I think we're just going to pit on lap 6, which is pretty much halfway. But we're not going to change tyres though. I believe the other car changed tyres. I think we're going to take a gamble and go for a quicker pit stop and not change our tyres. Yes, again, I've gone on a tangent again. So our Racing Pass Discord, general chat, you can find all the liveries, you can find most of the liveries that I've done. Unfortunately they take a while to do, so eventually they'll get done. I mean, most of these cars anyway are from the World Sportscar Pack on TH Racing, and this Trans Am pack as well. Again, most of the liveries are sort of good for AI fillers. I wouldn't say they're the best. Well, actually, I'm quite pleased with the minis that I've done. But again, most of these liveries were actually quite simple because it was just a painted car with a number on the side and maybe a sponsor. So yeah, most of the cars that we've got are the ones that race. To say it's just the Plymouth Barracuda I can't find a good mod for. So like I said, I think Dodge and Plymouth were under the same umbrella at the time, so those 2 cars are the same. Again, the Alfa Romeos, they're all part of the TH Racing saloon car pack. Obviously they have also the Trans Am pack, they also have the World Sportscar pack. So most of those mods are free. Actually, I don't think I paid for any mods on here. Also, there are some BMWs in this race as well, which is supposed to be the 1800 Ti, but the only ones that I can find are the 2002 ones. But again, they look pretty much the same. I think the alloys are just a little bit different and a little bit faster probably, but that's fine. They're competing against the 2 litre class anyway. As we come into our pit stop, we're just going to top up with fuel. There goes one of the Beamers and the Minis. But yeah, there was quite an eclectic mix of cars for this Trans Am series to start with. I say the majority of the cars were not American. But like I said, the Alfa Romeo Jochen Rindt actually won the first race in the under 2 litre class in an Alfa Romeo, so you can understand that actually when the manufacturers were quite reluctant to join this series, and then the first race an American manufacturer didn't win, it was quite the upset. The people were not pleased. But I think it was just to do with reliability, really. I'm not entirely sure that the Alphas would have been as quick, especially down the straights. But yeah, they just proved that the European cars were a little bit more reliable than the American, and the American manufacturers did not like that one bit. But they got over that eventually. So the majority of these cars in this race are the ones that raced at the 4 Hours of Sebring. Quite a few of the cars in our class raced over several of the races throughout the 66 season, but just to make all the points fair, they're going to compete in all of them. And say it just makes it a bit more competitive as well for us, because I think some of them have only done one race, some of them did two, some of them did a couple. So yeah, so in our class they're just going to do all of them. And I think the ones that I've just done for the Sebring 4 Hours, I think for the under 2 litres anyway, again, they may have not competed in other races, but I think just for the sake of not having to spend all my time doing liveries for every single race at the moment, we'll just use all these cars for now. As we get past a couple more minis. Oh, a little bit of contact there. I think he went off. Was that my fault? Did I feel like I gave him space, but right, it's hard to know where we are now without my pitboard thing up. I don't really know. I feel like my tyres are going off already. Right, it's one of the Beamers. Is that the 45, was it? Or 48, that could have been the BMW South Sales. I think one of the Beamers managed to rolled it in the race, from what I've seen in my research. And again, I've not managed to get the braking balance right on these cars, because I've put the braking bias all the way forward and taken the sort of brake pressure off a little bit. I'm still locking the rears. And it's only going to get worse with the tyre wear. To make it through the big chicane, and that's not going to help. And a couple more laps. Traffic coming up ahead, which is a Beamer and a couple of Alphas, I think. So they're the first Alfa Romeos we've come across. Oh no, sorry, they're the Cortinas, aren't they? The Alan Mann Cortinas. Which I hopefully will get to drive for at some point. There are talks, because again, he's a local man for us in Sussex, along with Peter Sutcliffe, so do our best not to ruin their races. Right, I'll be given a drive-through penalty for that collision with the Mini. I guess we'll have to just take it now then. And again, I don't know what position I'm in. I don't know. I don't know if we're winning, leading. Oh, that's better. I mean, I guess it's up to the faster cars to go past the slower ones, but I thought I gave them space. Right, so that's the Cortina's gone past again. I can't see anyone in my mirrors. Are we behind? Are we ahead? Oh no, I can see a. I thought that was a Mustang, isn't it? It kind of looked burgundy, which I think the only burgundy car Mustang I can think of is the Guy Stewart Mustang. Which I don't remember racing before the pit stop. As we're going to chuck it in, lock the rears, little nudge of the yellow man car. I mean, they're running their own race really at this point, so. Yeah, so are the Plymouth Barracudas that far ahead? Again, like I was saying, we've got the pace, we've got but little mistakes like that, just, I can't afford to make anymore. We're certainly I like to think we're an established driver now, but if you're going to keep wrecking people, okay, he's got past Cortina's as well, so he's. Maybe we are out ahead. Maybe with the not changing tyre strategy, we've jumped everyone. But are they going to last? That's the question. Because they all seem close now, so whether I'm not putting in the lap times anymore. I feel like I am though. I don't feel like I'm. It's just under brakes. It's just the rears just want to lock. I mean, the car is a bit wallowy and slidey anyway, so it's not. It's not going to change the characteristics of the car too much. So I'm definitely quicker in this first sector. Because you get this corner right, you can gain a lot of time with the AI. But from that point onwards, in these braking points, they seem to be able to brake so much harder and faster than I can, which is so far the theme of this entire series. Yeah, they gain a lot of time effectively from now until we get to the start finish, which is quite a, so again, it's 2 sectors, isn't it? Again, in the mirrors, they're there. They're definitely gaining a little bit. We only have a couple of laps left. And so then this will set us up nicely for the race tomorrow, which is the course of 12 hours. I think it starts at 10. 10 till 10, and it was pretty much sunny. I mean, it's Sebring, so it's always pretty much sunny, isn't it? I can't remember the last time there was a wet Sebring race in recent memory, I don't think. But yeah, so that'll be a hour and 20-minute race. So again, for this 4-hour race, I've done it as a 40-minute race, and then the 12 hours will be an hour and 20-minute race. I don't know if that actually equates to that's the right way of doing it. I can't really add up normally, let alone try and work out timings. But yeah, so it'll be an hour and 20-minute race for the World Sportscar Championship 12 Hours of Sebring. And we'll have 3 drivers sharing the car. And it pretty much equates to 30 laps to do an hour and 20. So we'll divide that nicely into 10. Divide that nicely into 10 laps each. So I believe I'll be doing the last stint, so the other two drivers of Sutcliffe and Ireland will do the first 2, so we'll just have to watch and hopefully, I think we'll qualify it, try and get them up there as far as possible, but there are lots of fast cars now, and a lot more Ford GT40s. So our class has got much bigger than the World Sportscar Championship, so we'll try and aim once again for a top 10 and a podium. Although we definitely could win the class, I think we've got the pace, but whether I make any mistakes. And hopefully that's not foreshadowing. Now then, that red Mini there is Paddy Hopkirk, who also won the Monte Carlo Rally in a Mini. Was it the same year? Was it 66? So he's already having a good season. But yeah, I had no idea that then he'd raced Minis in, I guess technically Trans Am. It sounds a bit weird, but racing a Mini in Trans Am. But yeah, he went on and did, not only infamous for rallying and getting Mini a win, but also did a load of endurance racing in Minis as well, as we lock up our rears once again as the tyres are getting nice and tired. And the Mustangs, they're still lurking back there. So I'm not getting away. Obviously we deal with the traffic a lot better than they do. So that sort of helps us a bit. we've got in quite deep. Are my brakes done? Is that... Because it didn't feel like I locked up. It just felt like I just... I don't know. I don't know what that was. It just felt like I didn't... Like the brake wasn't pushed hard enough, but I don't think that's the thing, is it? Especially after a long straight, that would be boiling. Since we're using all the roads, ignoring the cones. Again, we'll gap him here around this part of the circuit. But then once we get to the braking point for the hairpin, they'll start to catch us. Again, I think we must only have one more lap. Is this the last lap? That's not going to help. I don't know, is that our brakes? Or is it just the tyres just not quite locking, but slight? I don't know, it feels weird, because if the rear's locked, the car feels like it wants to spin round, but it doesn't feel like, I'll try that again, it doesn't feel like it wants to spin around. It just feels like brake fade, but I don't... Is that a thing? Am I just... That's not going to help. No, please, no. That's not... Yeah, I think our tyres are cooked, right? Oh, okay, now I can make out the shape of that. That is a Mustang. I feel like this must surely be the last lap. At this point, as we're still... Oh, he's right there. Has this backfired, do you think? Well, I hope the Volvo will come into play, because they will decide not to go round it. I know he has, but that's held him up massively. Yeah, see, that feels like it's trying to lock the rear brakes, because it's twitching. It's twitching from the back. But I feel like we're alright now. Let's take it nice and easy. I think there we have it. In our first race, of Trans Am, in our brand new Mustang, we've gone and done it. That's it. We have won the first ever Trans Am race in our first ever car bought after winning our first ever championship in the British Sportscar Championship. That is a good feeling. Right, let's see what the results were. So we came out on top in our Ford Mustang, followed closely in the end by Guy Stewart's and his. The Plymouth Barracuda following up in third, and then the Mustang lockout for the top 5. In the under 2 litre class, it was an Alfa Romeo 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the little plucky Renault 8 Gordini of Kenneth Sellers rounding out the top 5 there, as we now get ready for the main feature of the Sebring 12 Hours.
Welcome to the 12 Hours of Sebring, a crucial round of the World Sportscar Championship, and already the race is bursting into life here in Florida. Out front, the 2 Scarlet machines from Ferrari lead the charge. The number 28 Ferrari 330 P3 of Nino Vaccarella and Jean Guichet runs wheel to wheel with the sister number 29 car of Lorenzo Bandini and Bob Bondurant. But right behind them, the pressure is mounting. The experimental Ford GTX1, driven by Ken Miles and Lloyd Ruby, is right on their tail, waiting for any opportunity to strike. And just behind them again, Dan Gurney and Jerry Grant are closing in rapidly, looking for a way past as they dive toward the hairpin. Gurney shapes for a move on Miles, but thinks better of it. There's just no room. At the final corner, the two Ferraris come together. The number 29 of Bandini and Bondurant is sent spinning out of contention, heavily damaged. Welcome back to the 12 Hours of Sebring as we reach the 4-hour mark in what is proving to be a grueling test for both cars and drivers under the Florida sun. Out front overall, it's the striking Ford GTX, one of Ken Miles and Lloyd Ruby, that currently leads the race. The American machine setting a relentless pace at the head of the field. In the P1 class, the number 52 entry of Joe Bozzetta holds the advantage. Over in the S3 category, it's the distinctive green machine of Peter Sutcliffe that leads the way. For the GT class, the number 11 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray sits at the front. But one of the most exciting battles on track right now is in the S2 class. A fierce fight between Alfa Romeo and the nimble Lotus Elan, with neither driver willing to give an inch as they scrap for class honors. 4 hours down, 8 still to go. And if the opening stages are anything to go by, we're in for a classic here at Sebring.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to a slightly odd start to the Sebring 12 Hours, because we're not driving at the moment as we watch the leaders go past. We're waiting for Innes Island to come in after his first stint, and here he comes now. So this is a 30-lap race for it to be about an hour and 20 minutes, and because there are 3 drivers in the car, it's about 10 laps a stint. So Innes Island done his first stint of 10 laps. We now put Peter Sutcliffe in for his 10 laps, and then we will be getting in at about sunset to finish the race off at night. There's quite a lot of fuel to put in, so it's quite a lengthy stop as one of our competitors goes through. I think that's one of the Scuderia Bear cars going past. It's the number 2 Mark II is there. That's an SXY car. That's certainly one of our competition today as he heads off for another 10 laps.
Welcome back to the 12 Hours of Sebring as we pass the 8-hour mark and the sun begins to set over the circuit. The track now bathed in that golden glow before darkness takes hold. Out front, it's still the Ford GTX, one of Ken Miles and Lloyd Ruby holding firm at the head of the field, continuing their commanding run as we head into the most demanding phase of the race. In the P1 category, the number 52 machine remains the class leader, with Han Herman now at the wheel. The Allen Mann Racing entry, car number 25 of Whitmore and Gardner, now leads its class. In the GT class, the number 11 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray of Don Yenko, Roger Morgan, and Doug Hooper continues to set the pace. And in another class battle, the number 62 machine of Lucien Bianchi and Georges Constantin still holds the advantage. But with the darkness approaching, nothing is guaranteed. 8 hours down, just 4 to go, under the lights at Sebring, where races are so often won and lost.
Right, and here we are. It is now our turn to jump back in the car. Right then, as we hop back in the car for the first time this weekend, back in the Ford GT40, after a very successful run in the Trans Am debut of the series, as well as our first outing in our owned Ford Mustang, off the back of our last previous wins at the World Sportscar Championship. We've had quite a run so far at this point of the season. A few mistakes here and there, but overall I think we're there or thereabouts driving-wise, but yeah, a very, very clean run by both Sutcliffe and Ireland, so that's put us in a very good spot actually. We've got some fighting to do towards the end. We've got about 10 laps or so, depending when the faster cars finish. I think that was the red car that went past as we were leaving. That was the X1 Roadster that was driven by Miles and Ruby, as we have taken the Mustang line, and that is not going to work in this car. These are completely different beasts. So I think we were running about third in class, which is where we finished at Daytona, and I think it was about 12th place overall. And then we're coming to the pits, I think we're about 18th, and at the back of the Ford GT40 train, as it were. I think there's quite a few more Mark 1 GT40s in this race than Daytona, so we've got a few more cars to contest with, as well as some more cars in our class in general, a couple more Cobras, as we've got a Porsche there in the sand, as you would have had back in the day. Obviously not exclusively Porsches, but they'd have to dig themselves back out of the sand banks. So I'm not entirely no, that far from our classes, and I'm still used to the British Sportscar Championship. But here the class structure works slightly differently. Obviously, that looks like a prototype, so that's in the prototype class. We are classed as a sports car because I think you could buy them at this point. So ours is a sports car, and then the Mark II GT40 in the prototype, as well as the Porsches being in their own class, and then the rest of the runners, the likes of the Lotus Elan, Porsche 911, Triumphs, are all in there. That would have been originally like mixed classes, but after you put them all together, as they're running around at the back, as we always get a beautiful sunset here at Sebring, especially coming up the very aptly named Sunset Bend. But we won't see the sun for much longer, as we'll go into darkness as the back end. A bit of a four-wheel skid there, really. Just trying to get back used to driving this car, because it has been a while. Like I said in the Trans Am, it's been a while since I've done any racing really, but hopefully some more regular viewings from here on out, and hopping back to Europe after this for the 1,000 kilometres of Monza. I don't know what car will be racing for that, because this car didn't turn up to that event, and then you got the Targa Florio after that, which only one team was mad enough to turn up to, which was I think it was Ford France. So we'll see if we can get a seat in with them, otherwise to somehow convince Peter Sutcliffe that we won't completely destroy his car at the Targa Florio. And also after that it would be Spa and Nürburgring and then Le Mans, so we've got some very big races coming up. I think I said it before, I have done a schedule at the end of each of these races, but because everything's a bit out of whack now, I think some of the leaders behind us, the schedule will change frequently, so I do apologise. I do try and keep some sort of order to this, but yeah, the original plan was sort of, as you would throughout the season, you wouldn't have all your British Sportscar Championship first, and then all the World Sportscar Championship, and then another championship. You'd have them all mixed in between, but it's just the way things have worked out. So you're going to get a block of one championship, a block of another, a block of another. I think with the American ones I can sort of interchange because they're all fairly similar, but I believe that Ferrari in front of us, I think that was one of the ones that was down on the entered cars that didn't arrive on the 330p3s, either the 28 or 29. And then there was another one that didn't start off, Franz Gilbard, I think. I'm awful at pronouncing names, but Ferrari didn't do particularly well at this race either, because Miles really won it in the X1 Roadster, followed by Hampton Donoghue in the Mark II GT40, and then Scott Revson came third in the Mark I GT40 for the SXR Corporation. And then Porsche already got their first good result in the 906, finishing fourth overall, and then the fifth place was a Ferrari Dino, and then you don't see a Ferrari for quite a while after that. So not a great start to the thing for Ferraris. Once again, we're taking the Trans Am line, and that isn't the line. That's not it. Alfa Romeo to get past, as we see people's campfires being set up as we head into the night time now. So we've really got to watch out for our braking markers, which are not too dissimilar to actually the Mustang. So that makes things easier, and once again, like the Mustang, are much faster in the first sector than I think the other cars, and they make up the time in the second or third sector, which are all lots of heavy braking zones, which I'm not very good at, so I still haven't worked that out yet. Yes, we've got one of the 906s up ahead. just into the braking zone. Quite a bit of a lock up there, but didn't rear end him. Now we haven't seen any other Ford GT40s yet. I do believe they are still to pit. I think there's a lot of strategy still to play out. We've done our pit stop now. I think you could do about 12 laps on the tank of fuel for us. So we just divided it into, it was a 30 lap race to get it to an hour and 20-minute race. So yeah, so we just divided it, the 30 lap race, into 3. So our 2 AI drivers did very well. So now it's just a run for us to the pits. So that was a Ford GT40 in the pits. And there is another one, that is the Essex wire car. That is going to be 4th position. I reckon this is probably 4th place now. And since he's getting everything back up to temperature, that was our chance. I believe we are in 4th place now, depending where the other cars are on circuit. So I believe there's another Essex wire car to be had, as well as the 2 Alan Mann Ford GT40s, which aren't any, I don't think they're ordinary GT40s. I think they might be the lightweight versions for this race. So we'll try and catch up with them as we go. That's probably the best of taking that corner actually. I thought I was going in deep, but we actually stopped. Alright, so we've got a good gap behind us now, so we don't really want to be fighting with that car. So we want to make a bit of headway. There's another car there in the bank. Is that the, I think that's the Roger Penske Stingray, isn't it? Now that car was very quick. That was pretty much on par with these GT40 in qualifying. It just had such a head of speed down the straights. And also the handling actually wasn't that different. It's, it's even though it's a big car, we've completely outbraked ourselves. Hopefully no one saw us go around the hay bales, but I can't say we gained an advantage, we didn't lose one either, so I think we'll just keep that between us. I say we did get a drive-through in the Trans Am race for taking off a back marker, so we're going to try and avoid doing that. As again, we have a big lock-up, and I was not expecting him to come back around the outside. Yeah, we can't afford another drive-through at this point. Nice and cleanly. Shouldn't come back at us at this point. He's trying. Although the Essex Wires car's there now, so that's not what we want. Our advantage has gone. Can't tell if I could see another GT40. There's the X1 Roadster. I do believe that is the leader, or one of the leaders. And he's held up our competition, so that's what we want, but we need to make sure he gets past us cleanly and not compromise us at the same time. Right, let's see if we take this corner correct. That's it, change down the gear, get it rotated, stick as close as you can to those hay bales, across the bumps. And then try and line this up. In Mustang, if you got the line right, you could do this flat out, but not in this GT40. Find the braking zone, which is just around those cones, just to keep it safe. I've got a little hot, actually. That's okay. down this long back stretch, which isn't so straight nowadays. About the 200 marker board. Roger Petty's car is still stuck in the trap as we look. Our rear brakes there, which is very weird. I know the Mustang, that was a big characteristic of that one in the last race, but in this GT40 I have got the braking just right, I think, in the setup. I think I have it about 66% forward or 67% forward, and then 98% on the pressure, and that seems to be just okay to stop the rears locking. Right, that's the best I've ever taken that corner, which is good because oh no, that's the potential leader behind us, isn't it? I got worried there. Yeah, it's closing so quick, but it's a much faster car than we are. So hopefully, please go round us, don't hit us. I'm going to have to take evasive actions because you're just going to rear end us. Right, off you go now. We don't need. You there. Right, that's a 250 LM. I don't know where the SX Wire car went. He must have been held up massively, or unless he's... I don't think he pitted again, did he? Right, now we're all being held up here. Which way do I go? Into the back of him. And now he's going to go past us again. I'm going to try and get past this Ferrari. I'll take a weird line because they sort of sit in the middle of the road and then they go a bit wide here. And we're going to cut back in, so you go out here, but then they're going to try and cut you off again. And there's another 4 ahead. I think I saw the SX Wire car back there in the mirror. It's quite far away now, so nothing to worry about at this point. We just need to get our head down and try and catch the remaining cars. Get it stopped. A nice clean manoeuvre there on the 250 LM. Alright, there's a gang of cars up ahead. 2 red cars. Do they look like Ford GTs to you? I can't quite tell from here. Just something's happening at the back end of that car. I can't quite tell what they are. Are they there for us? Or maybe there's a GT40 in there, as the Miles Ruby car was going for a manoeuvre that was just not on. They cut very early to the inside of that corner and they were miles off still. Don't rear end us, please, on this corner. He's coming in hot, but not as hot as he was last time. Okay. A little bit out of shape there. Are you going to go if you move down the inside, you are. We're just going to let you have it. We'll just be on your way, please. No, you do that weird thing where you slow down and then let me through again. You're still on the inside. Oh goodness, that's overly aggressive, but I'm trying to let you go. Please, you need to disappear now. I don't want to affect your race as much as you're affecting mine, so to go for the move, I want you to go. Oh yeah, okay, there's at least 3 GT40s there, so that must be first, second or third. There they are. I don't know who the silver one is, but I think the red ones must be the yellow man cars, and they were all held up there by that Triumph. And then you've got the X1 Roadster going to try and make his way through. Just to add. Oh, we've got a few more cars there. Oh, that's the GT40 there as well, isn't it? Was that? I couldn't tell if that was the Mark 1 or Mark 2. It was white. So I'm not... Was there a full France 1 in this race? Oh, it's hard to tell. I can't remember off the top of my head. Right, and I'm pretty sure I saw the silver one leave the pits as we came in. So... You must be for position at this point. So we could definitely go for a podium position here. Ideally for the win though. I say it took us a while in the British Sportscar Championship to get one, but a massive lot of oversteer under braking kept it pointing in the right direction. There seems to be a lot more traffic up ahead as well, so that should bring those cars back to us. We don't seem to be as quick at them at the moment, as that's when the Cobra's coming out the pits. He is in our class, and they are pretty quick, so that could have been for position. Oh yeah, a whole load of traffic there. That'll definitely bring them back to us. As much as we are quick in this sector, we are also quicker than them against AI traffic, so hug me into a line there, across the bumps. So what have we got there? We've got Essex Wire, an Allen Man, and then I'm not too familiar with the 53. Should go to the outside. Much better on the brakes than we are. This Alfa Romeo is going to keep us all in check, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to go to the right. We're going to squeeze through. We've still got the momentum. That could have been key there. That could be it. That could have been the move for a podium. And there's some more cars up ahead. There's another Allen Man car there, as well as the X1 Roads are still getting in the way of everything. They're trying to get past all this traffic. So maybe we're third now, I reckon. Whether that silver GT40 was on the same lap as us, as all when the yellow man has hit on the land and it's gone off. Will that be a penalty? Who knows? Side by side. He's gone for it. We've got a Porsche off to the left. I might cut that corner slightly. But we've got a good run though. Good run in the L24. I don't know how much quicker those cars would have been in period, because I think they were sort of like a lightweight variant. But with the engine machine, I was looking at the wrong marker board and I've let him through. I thought the 300 was the 200. That was a silly mistake. And I've got the other GT40 there. And that's the SXY car. I'm pretty sure that is for position. I think that's silver one. I don't know, he came in at the same time as pits, but he was pretty much a pit stop ahead, so as we're going to go down around the outside on the grass slightly, we're going to, oh dear, a little bit of contact, but we will make it through. All over the back of him. Oh, I didn't really want to go for the move, but is he still there? He must be. It's really annoying I haven't got my AI track thing working on this new build. So we're just having to guess. Yeah, I can see him in my mirror. He's definitely got his nose to my rear quarter. He's better on the brakes than me. The SXY is going to come steaming through. There's nothing I could do with that, apart from avoid a collision. That was a very robust move. I'm going to try and... It looked like I was trying to block it back. I just want to make sure I can see him in my mirror so I know where he is. Alright, make sure we get all our braking points. Oh goodness, one of the cars has flown and we're locked out. It brakes again and we've somehow kept it on the road. Whatever car that was, I think it was the Penske car again, absolutely flying. There can only be a couple of laps left now. This is for the win here. This is first, second, third and fourth. Following in the slipstream. Gaining. Always braked really early and now we've hit the back of him. He's gone straight on. Oh, I think he spun. Well, I think I'm going to ruin that. I'll tell you what, if that ain't a drive-through, I don't know what is. So I reckon I've got a penalty for that. I don't know what of the Alaman cars hit that Alan off, because that would have also been one as well. Not had it come up yet, so we'll just continue on, see if we can distract number 25. Again, we're so much quicker in this first sector. Right, we're going to see if we can sweep around the outside. He's going to be there. I think there's space given. Oh, that was a big nudge onto the dirt. Yeah, he was having none of that. going to stick with him now. There's quite a big gap behind us now, so I reckon we will get a drive through. We probably won't see it until we hit the back straight. Again, I think the tyres might be getting a little tired at this point. I don't know, even with this percentage drive-through, we still probably could get a third place, which isn't awful, but the win's there. You can see it. So he's got a bit of traffic, and we're just going to scoot right around. We're in the lead for now, but this might not last that long. Right, and there we have it. That's a drive-through for the Alan Mann car and us. So for him, it was taken off the Alan, and then for us, it was rear-ending the other Alan Mann car. I think, I can't remember what, who's who, 24 and 45 was it? So we'll give ourselves another lap to do it. Also, what was it, normally like 3 laps you got to take it in, or take it within 2 laps? So we'll try and build a nice big gap now. Let's see where we come out. See, this is what I was talking about in the Trans Am race. The results are there, but with silly little mistakes like that, it's not too many other teams are going to like this. I'm not going to lie, I had originally planned for us to race in one of those Alan Mann Mark 1 GT40, because I think one was put down for Monza but then never turned up. But seeing as I've just ended one of his race cars out of potential win, if not podium, I'm not entirely sure he's going to be that keen at this point. So I might have to try and convince Peter Sutcliffe that he should probably go to Monza, and if we can still get a podium, I think we can convince him that if you stay in do every race in the championship, or at least most of them, he's got a good chance of winning the class, because a lot of these other cars are sort of in and out. Apart from the SXY, I think they're pretty much in the majority of them. So they're probably our main competitor. And I think then Ford France will be one as we go on to the championship. So I can convince him that if he does Monza, I doubt he'll do Talca Florido, and then Spa, Nürburgring and Le Mans, and the car survives, he's got a good chance at the final race in Hockenheim for a class win, as we get a massive lock up there. That's not what we want. As I think we'll take the drive-through this time by, and that will give us a couple of laps for any recovery drive, which we do more often than not. Right, into the final corner. Right, it'll just be a straightforward drive-through. See who's in the pits here. You've got the Elan, the Porsches, and the Porsche. You've got Ferrari. Right, there goes one of the Alaman cars. And there goes Essex Wire. And there goes the Cobra. Now, I don't know. I have a feeling we might be on the lead lap, or on our lap, lead lap, for our class. So we saw an Allen Man and an Essex Wire. So if that's the case, then if we get past this Cobra, we still should be in the third place. And depending on what Allen Man car it was that got the penalty for taking the Elan off, whether we might actually gain second. There'll be a lot of post-steward race reviews, I think. Right, here we go. Make it nice and clean. Keep it nice and tight. He's still there. He's got much faster acceleration than I do. I guess that car's a lot lighter. They must be really light compared to these. I guess we've got a longer gear ratio. Again, rough and move. I didn't quite intend to. He's still there. So that's the Essex Wire car there. So that's not too far ahead actually. That is. There's a couple of laps left. So this Porsche is going to hold us up. I don't want to hit him because I've already had one too many penalties this weekend. So just a little reminder, we do have a Racing Pass Discord, so any liveries that we couldn't find, there's a little collection of us that are just trying to complete the ones that aren't there. I know with the TH Racing car packs for the World Sportscar Championship, Trans Am, touring cars of all 60s, 70s, most of the liveries are there and complete. There are just a few that we would like to fill in. So if you'd like to download any of those, do feel free. There should be a link in the description of the YouTube video to join our Racing Past Discord. We can just chat generally about Racing Past, as well as the YouTube series that I'm doing, any YouTube video ideas. As we slide round the final corner, I do believe this will end the race, and we shall find out where we have finished. It's a third place for now, but with penalties pending, we'll have to take a look at the final results. Right, so after 12 hours, it was Ken Martin Lloyd Ruby who came out on top ahead of the Jaguar XJ13 of the familiar faces Ackman and Hobbs, and the Ferrari 330 P3 finishing third. For the P1 cars, it was a Ferrari 206 that led the way, with then a couple of 906s finishing the top 5. For our class, after penalties applied, we came second behind the Essex Wire of Scott and Revson, ahead of the Alaman car Whitmore and Gardner. And for the S2 result, it was Alfa Romeo came out on top ahead of the 904s, 901s and the Triumph TR4s. Then we have the overall results for the top 20 cars. As we can see, it's the usual suspects. We're just finishing outside the top 10, so 12th place isn't too bad, but we've got a second in class overall. And remaining races of this season, we have Monza, Targa Spa, Nürburgring, Le Mans and Hockenheim, all still to come. And we look at the results from the first two races of Daytona and Sebring. As we can see, it's the Holman and Moody car of Voigt, Buckman and Ginther ahead on 13 points, 12 points behind the Hobbs and Atwood car, and Miles and Ruby on 10 points. And if we look to our own class, we can see that we're currently on 12 points, leading the way, with the Essex Wire cars on 11 and 10 points. So they are our main rivals for this season. And as we head to the S2 class, it's the Porsche 904 leading the way on level points with the Alfa Romeo, and the Triumphs aren't doing too badly. either. We head to the GT class, not a very big field at the moment, but not many cars finished the Sebring 12 hours, so only 2 cars get the points. There we have it. That is the Sebring 12 hours and the Sebring 4 hours. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Do leave a like, comment and subscribe for many more videos like this. Take care. I'll catch you next time.